Hey, hey, hey! How are you today?
Asheville. Howdy ho. Look at this panel of love.
I know.
Your TV is just, can I just jump out and say, it's just been, it's rose to the occasion. Last night, live TV last night.
Well, we've got a lot of great stuff going on.
This panel account.
And you get to see it first, hear it first at URTV. You remember Allie, Black Crow Cards.
Honored to be
Of course,
here.
we got GLoLady. We have Shannon. And our special guest today, we have Lady Passion and Diuvei.
Diuvei.
I'm by the end of the show, I'm going to know how to pronounce it correctly. Yeah. But we're going to be talking a lot about our First Amendment rights today. I had caught Lady Passion on television this week, and I had seen her talking about Google. And I'm having a whole lot of fun, as you guys know, with Brevard and my right to practice my religion. And it's not just any religion specifically, but all religions in general. And I had invited them on. It's like I know that they have a lot of really good stuff to talk about too. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is community support in its raw, creative, wonderful, synergistic form that we just love to participate in. Mm-hmm. And even though it's blustery outdoors, we just couldn't be happier to be here. So thank you for inviting us.
Well, I'm honored. I mean, I've been wanting to get you guys on the show for. It's been a couple of years now.
Oh, really?
And I have had, have said I wanted to get you on, have talked, and it just did not click until this
Now's
week.
the time.
Trusting.
Trusting. No better time than now, right?
It happens in its own time.
That's it.
Beautiful things are happening like this.
We in particular are always sort of, we're like the great attractor when it comes to problems. Mm-hmm. Of a free speech nature.
Yes.
We, won the Marquetta Laurel of Free Speech Award in 1997 for a reason. Mm-hmm. And we don't seek out problems, but they do come to us. And when they do,
I know it sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It's up to us to say, yes, this is a problem. No, we do not like it. No, we will not stand for it. And then to figure out how best we hope to resolve
creatively,
it.
Calmly. Mm-hmm. And it's always,
Mm-hmm.
It's like I always say with Lisa, she comes in peace.
Yeah.
Right? And when she said, if they could tell me one thing that I did wrong, my thoughts are aired live in Asheville, is what she can say.
That's right.
And there's no hiding behind anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Lisa's always up front.
So I have a special surprise.
Oh,
I'm just going to lay it out there.
Okay.
Oh, well.
There's a reason there's a smile on my face.
Oh.
On both of our faces.
Way cool. Okay. In other words, they had some, and it's even better than that.
More than that.
Rock and roll.
We went national with this on Monday. I sent out a big PR, actually short, sweet, to the point. What I felt like were the salient issues that not only were we felt, bigotry attack targeted by Google, one of the largest search engines on the planet, and their parent company, their offspring, YouTube, and but we were not alone. And I felt like we could see a pattern either forming or continuing and getting worse. There was a gentleman who owns an occult store, practical magic store in Staten Island that we researched and saw that he too had the exact same disclaimer put on through an anonymous complaint.
We can show
really?
Well, we're gonna.
Yeah, can we?
But wait a minute.
Save it for the climax.
But wait a minute. So when I go national, I mean national in a big way.
Right.
I mean lots of contacts and stuff. And local media,
We talked. Gotcha.
And so, I just don't hold back. If you're going to do
Right.
it, and
If
you're going to take the time and you mean it, then you
Run
just
with
go whole hog.
Uh-huh.
And let then your supporters, people that have worked with you, people who know what you do, people who know the battles that you face, help do that work for you and with you.
Right.
Become invested because it could be them tomorrow.
You got it.
And so
Well, for those who didn't see the coverage, yeah, this is a video that we made and posted on YouTube. It's a video of a workshop we did a few years ago.
It's
And
actually
this
just
is
a
the one-
snippet. It wasn't even the entirety. Those are on our own website.
So this is what they were up
Let's
in,
see.
or the thing that was up in the arms that brought you aware of the problem.
Yes.
So in other words, there are other people who had problems before this.
Of course.
But you didn't know anything about it.
Well, we were as well aware as anyone, really, that this was a phenomenon that a lot of people were complaining about.
Yeah,
but
not
we
that
had
one,
not
that one. You wanna
experienced
pull
it
back out.
personally.
Disappearing
Because
into
that's
the
a chroma
waterfall
key.
there.
And we had never heard of them targeting
Yeah.
witches
Oh, this
per
one, yeah.
se, our religion and our religious practices. And so we were like the
There we
first
go.
to be
Oh, that's
targeted.
looking
And
good.
so, well, we do stand up, and we
Right.
are renowned for that.
Right.
And so I just feel, who knows if it was Coleman during the tree sit. We don't even know how long this was up.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't inform us. They
Right.
didn't, they didn't vet it, for its accuracy or
Right,
anything.
I mean, you
Somebody
don't always
made a
go on your
complaint.
website or YouTube and make
course.
sure that your videos
We're
are
everywhere.
as they, yeah.
And
right.
again, this was based on our, it was an exploration of one chant, very barbarous ancient words of power that we used to save the magnolias from the developer.
Right.
And what else did we use that
And
for?
here on that.
Thank
God
you.
bless
Thank you.
Yes.
They are still
Yes.
standing.
I'm
Yes.
hearing a lot of Asheville clapping right now.
Right.
Wonder.
Can you get
Well,
it
and a
in
lot
there,
of
Verona?
Asheville had a lot
Maybe
to do
if
with
you
that.
back up a little bit, that you can get that in. The thing on the bottom, is that why it won't go down? Wait a minute. Let me go around here.
And at some point, you can speak of the saving of that tree and how people can follow you on that. Because it's an hour show.
It's fully
So people,
posted,
you will
fully
be finding-
documented, yeah,
So
on our website.
People
yeah.
just follow with these people here to get a...
But we started with an original ritual featuring that protective chant, with calling anybody and everybody, and then that drew the the awareness, raised the awareness, drew people's attention to the problem, and then that took on a whole life of its own. But in the end, it still took he and I living there for 3.5 months to do it.
Living.
Yeah,
Under the tree.
Under the tree.
And how old is that
Really?
tree?
I
Right.
didn't know
How old-
that.
It's over centuries. They're both they're like lovers in wine.
Huge. I wish we
And-
had a picture, but we will get one because the show
They're
goes
on the website.
Yeah.
There's plenty of
But it'd
pictures
be great to
there.
clip a picture to put up
I
in the
know,
background because
I
it's a
know.
magnificent
It was like
tree.
that.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, they're
But
both.
I didn't know that there were
They
two
intertwine.
of them.
They
that-
intertwine, and they're sexual.
Right.
He's, impregnating her. So
Right.
like when people, literally visually, you can see it. And so that when people get married in City Hall, they come out and they have their pictures taken,
Right.
and it's good luck,
Feel
But-
good.
Yeah.
Feel good, that's right.
That's it. Oh, poor Sheila.
And a mission you were on, everyone that lives here in Asheville knows. And if they don't, that's scary.
Right. There was a developer, very wealthy, very
Coleman.
known in the town, not for goodly things. We didn't know that when we began this, but we learned. He wanted to put up an 11-story condo, was it, right in front of City Hall, and block all kinds of views.
And BB&T is what, 13, I think, stories. So it's like the biggest building. And
But
it
the
was
point-
just, it doesn't
would've-
fit.
The
Yeah,
point
I
was
mean,
that
it's
was
been
that it
just
was
as
public
blocky, yeah.
parkland,
It
and
goes into
he had no
law,
right to
yeah.
buy it. Once they became aware of that, they should have undone the deal and
Right,
fixed
right,
it.
right.
But everybody started digging in their heels and saying no to the people, and this would have turned their backs on the black folks,
Right.
into the black bloc. Plus, caused harm to maybe drummers or spiritual people in the new park that they were redoing. There was just a lot of
It would
reasons.
have
that
cast
was-
a shadow every day on
Yes,
City
it
Hall.
would have. It would have.
Well, see, there again.
And
you know,
kill
this
these
is-
living trees.
symbolically
Oh.
cast a
Could you
shadow
imagine
on
that?
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
It's more or less they're in the dark. And if
Yeah.
the people do not go to the meetings, to the commission meetings or the council meetings,
they didn't-
that's how they get away with it.
It is,
But we
yeah.
were able to really unify everybody around the fact that as symbolic of all of that,
Stick
not
your feet in
just
the ground,
anti-development,
yeah.
not just class elites versus the little people, but
Right.
the truth of it was there were two living beings involved, and that were going to be killed
Yeah,
Right.
for no reason
Other than
on
somebody
public
else's
parkland.
Greed.
Yeah,
Right.
and so we exposed all that greed.
Okay, now, do you have it on his, can you get his, the computer in, the laptop? Because he's going, they're going to show what Google decided was not appropriate.
Yeah, it was labeled as offensive to some.
May contain
That's it.
objectionable or offensive
offensive,
material. Viewer discretion advised.
Right. Okay, you want to go ahead and start it? Yeah, leave it on the laptop so he's going to play it.
She wants the laptop.
Yeah, he's going to play the video.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
do,
we got it on
Can you zero in on it?
the laptop?
There we go.
Okay. Well, we have, all right, is that it? All right, go
Part of
ahead.
it.
Okay.
dance around a focal point or whatever. But it's more balanced energy. It's not chaotic. It's not feminine by any means. But when you really need some extra punch for your spells, when you feel like you need a little strength, power, it's a good one for you. So let's go.
Okay.
Everybody excited. Memorize those phrases.
Bagahi laka bahae, lama kahi ahabahe, karelios, lama lamek bahalios, kabahagi sabalios, bariolas, lagos ata kapiolas, samahak et famiolas, harahia. One more time.
Sure.
Bagahi laka bahahe, lamak kahi ahabahe, karelios, lamak lamek bahalios, kabahagi sabalios, bariolas, lagozatha kabiolas, samahak et famiolas, harahia.
Now, harahia is always a good thing to say. It's a witch's form of hooray, and probably where it came from. Harahia.
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 That's what we use that a lot, yeah.
Pure evil, I know.
Wow.
And that's the book. That's the book that we wrote. That's an international bestseller, translated into Italian, and it contains. That's just one little spell in the entire book.
Almost
but
sounded Indian. You know, it was
It's-
almost like a melodic Indian tune to me.
Most witch
Yeah.
chants are melodic in some form with the beat to the rhythm, but
yeah,
it's
fabulous.
definitely
Beautiful.
pre-existent of most languages. In fact, we don't even know where it comes from. It's so
So that little snippet
is
Let me
what
show you
somebody
on
objected
YouTube,
to.
apparently. You can, and I'll show you what
I'll
showed
put
up
up a
on.
video disclaimer.
No,
or
they
something.
flagged it.
Let
as
me
being
show you
offensive.
what came up when I searched on Oldenwilde. If you go
So
back
they
maybe just a little
flagged
bit. Whoops.
that.
Anonymous complaint,
Let me
flag,
come back here and,
and
do it.
then they don't
There we
vet
go.
those complaints.
So in other words, that is thrown out then, or your
There
video
you go.
is no
Show.
longer
No.
available.
No, they
Check it
didn't
out.
take it down. But what-
YouTube Oldenwilde's channel. The following content has been
Ah.
identified by the YouTube community as being
Oh, they even put
But-
potentially
warning.
offensive, or and then the rest of it goes on to say how objectionable. What
Like
happened?
Tipper Gore stuff.
and
Yeah.
discretion is advised.
What happens is
Wow.
that on YouTube, in order to have, they don't have enough people to police all the stuff that
They
people
claim
could be
they're
putting up.
overwhelmed. Oh,
Right.
So,
poor
yeah.
big company.
So they leave it up to users to pull down all these categories of flags. You know,
Right,
like if
right.
it's sexual or if it's
Porn,
graphic
whatever.
violence
Right.
or stolen material or
Uh-huh.
something. Well, we fit none of those categories, but nevertheless, anybody can post a complaint about somebody else's
like you
video.
said, the
and
flagging,
Right.
which
A
Just,
rival,
you know.
a business rival, a personal
Wow,
rival,
there you
somebody that
go.
doesn't like you, an ex,
Right.
anyone can do it.
Wow.
Here's the kicker. If they get 3 flags on your video,
Right.
matter. If it's completely rated G, which I felt that was, then,
What was
then,
wrong with
All
then they
original.
deny you access. They
Yeah.
can freeze you out. And so
Ooh,
this
it
is
could
a
be
witch
frozen out on
hunt.
the computer.
Yeah,
This
out
is
of
a witch
YouTube
hunt.
anyway.
Out
Yeah.
of YouTube, Google
times.
potentially.
Right.
That's what they put that in their terms of service. You have to agree to it or they won't serve
Yeah.
you.
But didn't Google just have a great big thing against China? And
Exactly.
isn't this
Yeah.
the exact same thing that they had a big thing
It's
against
exactly
China?
the same thing. Yeah.
I felt so.
This
I
Yeah,
felt so.
censorship.
And, you know, I felt like they were getting free public good PR.
Right.
You know, and all the news media, ABC, NBC, all that. You know, if we're going, oh, we're the good guys. And here they were persecuting innocent domestic Americans. That just smacked to me of rank injustice. Definitely witchcraft,
Right.
persecution.
Right.
And especially when we found out we were not alone.
Right.
That another gentleman, which we went on his website, we could find nothing objectionable about it. Certainly nothing that met their terms of service or for violations or infractions or anything.
Had a Wiccan e-store that was associated with Lori Cabot in Salem, and somebody had undoubtedly another fundamentalist Christian had because that's we found a few complaints from fundamentalists on our YouTube channel about how evil this was. So and same with his e-store. Somebody flagged his YouTube video of the recent Samhain Halloween celebration as potentially offensive. Same thing, and there's no way to complain and say or to appeal that and say that it's not offensive. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I get offended when I go in a church and I listen to a preacher damning, witchcraft, and it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
do you even know what you're talking about?
Well, then you
They
should
never
be
do.
able to hang up a big sign saying this church may be potentially offensive.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, what's good for one is good for another.
But the thing
Exactly,
is,
yeah.
by allowing anonymous complaints, they do not vet. Ultimately, that company is responsible for tainting the goodly reputation that he and I have spent so many years
Right.
creating,
Right.
frankly.
Right.
And
Right.
it could cost us nonprofit donations. We're a 501c religious nonprofit in North Carolina, of all places, during the Bush era even.
Right.
And so, we have seen a drop, a precipitous drop. Again, we don't know who did it. We don't know what we were accused of. We don't know how long
That's
it was
scary.
up.
Well,
Yeah.
that's like me in Brevard.
Exactly.
I mean, all I've been trying
The
to do is good
parallels,
things
yeah.
in Brevard, and it's like I am crucified.
Yeah.
I am crucified for standing up for my First Amendment rights.
But the difference is when we get crucified or we don't like what we see, we fight back in spades, man. We land on whomever it is. We don't care how big or small they are.
Right.
And
Right.
so we talked it over and it just kept on pissing me off. It upset me. So I'm like, we're gonna go national.
We tried to go through. There aren't any channels to go through. We,
Okay, so you already tried to solve the problem.
They
Yeah.
have
going
2
directly to
e-addresses
them,
that
saying
they
we want to
post.
be nice, play nice with me.
And it's
Yeah.
service at youtube.com and what was the other one?
I think you tried to
support at
contact.
youtube.com.
Yeah.
Bounces.
Nothing on
Bounces.
Google.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So we couldn't even reach these people to try and get it resolved, which was
Right.
what we would rather.
Right.
Multinational corporation, beholden to no country's laws.
Not regulated.
And no way to,
I wonder what
no
the
way to
ratio
appeal
is. I
to
wonder
that.
how many people, perhaps you can start something here and have a place for people to go that feel like that have been flagged.
Oh, you
There
know
needs to
what?
be
I wonder what the
something. There
numbers
needs
are.
to
I
be
think
some
it gets
kind of
better than
recourse.
that.
Yeah.
Ratio for something as
I think it gets
so
better than
beautiful
starting
as,
something.
Hurrah, hooray.
To be honest, because
it up.
here's the upshot of it all.
Okay.
You want to see
Alright.
the upshot? All right.
4 days later, 4 days, mere 4 days after going national,
Right.
they did not contact us.
They still
But
haven't?
WLOS tried to contact them
Oh, did they?
based on that story that we did.
Right.
And
That's respect.
oh yeah, well we've worked with them for
I
a long
know.
time.
Well,
We've
yeah.
gotten them
Given-
Emmys,
Yeah.
based on our work.
We will get
Yeah,
it.
Russ Bowen.
They picked a
Because
cloud
of the
one. I love
Bagahi,
WLOS.
because of the very
I watch you on
Bagahi
that.
chant that we did the first time we did that circle around the magnolia trees
Right.
trying
They've
to
been
show
good.
it.
Right.
He got an Emmy for that.
Yeah. WLOS has walked with you.
Yes, they have, and they've been very
They've been
helpful.
good. They were
They
good
know
today.
we don't ever call them for something frivolous to us. It's
Right.
not just about us; it's about the potential
There
for
you go.
anyone.
Right.
And so we're willing to take the gut and the heat and all
Right.
that.
That's
but,
right.
Great.
we're
That's
standing up for
good.
everybody.
Right.
Really, we
well,
feel.
that was, because
Witches
so
or
many
not.
people have said about move out of Brevard, move out of Brevard, move out of Brevard. So many people have
Yeah.
gone down, and it's like, I love Brevard. I love the town. It's
Elevate
the
your
people.
town.
Yeah.
Make your town
Right.
keep up with you.
I'm
Well,
telling
that's
you.
what-
I'm like, you
That's
should
it.
go to
Once
Black
you gotta
Mountain. You should go
stand
here. I was
around.
doing that with her as we
Right.
held
I was
hands.
going all around these
She came
different
to West
places,
Asheville,
and it's
stayed
like,
at my house a few
you
days
know?
just to. We did a luau. We did a beautiful. Had
That's where we
beautiful
live in
food.
West Asheville.
Yeah, I've been
so-
there all these years since the 90s.
You know, when we
and
got
such.
there, it was crack alley. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all hippie cool.
Oh,
and
yeah.
really neat
My
stuff.
husband and I, hey, Steve, will be together 21 years. Steve Summey, and he played the music. This is a great song. We met 45 Cherry. This is 1989, St. Patrick's Day. And his friends forced him out of the house. It's 21 years ago. My friend forced me out. 45 Cherry and the strip band was playing. Come on. We go out, and we're talking, and that was it. 21 years ago. So I married Mr. West Asheville to me and watched it because I came up in the 70s to Hendersonville and all the music and all the great stuff. And it totally, when you came downtown, the wind blew. And that was all you heard was the rustle of the leaves, and you'd be afraid to walk. It was like a New York moment that had to transition and clean itself up and become this, like they were on
West
TV talking
Asheville's
about.
hip.
Well, actually, Stuart
Yeah.
I have
Coleman
been
put
there since
downtown out of business
since
by
89.
doing the
Well, that's even
Asheville
longer than
Mall.
us, then.
And so, and we didn't know when we
I
got
started
into
coming up in
this,
the
all
70s.
that, but we learned it as we went. But in 4 days, I swear to goddess, guys,
Okay.
we
Yeah,
won.
that's-
And
that's
now
what it
you're
says
the
now
first
when you
person
search
to know
on
it. We
Oldenwilde
won.
wonderful.
They took it down.
Okay, you wanna?
No more black marks. They took it down. We
It just
checked right before we
disappeared.
got here. Gone. And you know what you see when you
WLS.
type Oldenwilde on YouTube now?
Uh-huh.
All the articles in favor.
Yeah,
of
now
what
it
we were
says,
trying to explain
now what
and
comes
all-
up, it says, I think you're absolutely right to criticize Google/YouTube's ...
You opened
In other
up
words,
the
they
door
changed.
for
They
people.
Somebody
fixed
posted
it.
that.
Somebody
We
in
don't know
Google
who.
got the clue. They
WLS
took off
is,
the.
Well,
big
I
dog.
Oh, so
suspect.
that was Google's response?
Google
They
didn't
took it down.
respond
They
to us.
took
They
down
just
the,
fixed the
disclaimer.
problem.
That's
Took it down.
WLOS.
I think it was somebody that contacted me by email after the original the interview on WLOS. They said, I happen to own a couple of shares of Google stock. You think I should complain to them as a stockholder? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah,
Next thing I know,
right.
this thing is down. So, and they
Freedom of
live really
speech
close
and
by.
being who you
so-
are.
You
And
just gotta
what
stand
threat
up,
are you
yeah.
when
Right.
you've been seeing all this maniacal behavior of people and what they're doing, and then they want to come down on something so.
Sacred to
But
us.
see, how does
Yeah.
that
There
make
you
you
go.
feel?
No,
It makes you
her- what
realize
anyway,
courage,
so,
doesn't it?
Oh, that
Yeah,
tickles me about
it's-
WLOS.
Yeah.
Shannon
can't say it enough.
had just asked.
Doesn't that make you feel encouraged to go on with your...
Well, that's what I feel that I should do. I feel that
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, I mean, they have put me in a position that I'm blackballed. I can't get a job. They won't support my my show that I do here, even though I've been promoting Brevard, saying how much I love Brevard for 2.5 years. And it's like, they have put me in a position where I am like, I'm in the chains that they are putting me.
Well,
and
they've
it's like,
made you feel
you know,
trapped.
oh,
But here's the
big
thing,
time,
and
big
this is what
time.
Diuvei and I specialize in. Nationally, internationally, local, and statewide is setting legal precedent, fighting these tough battles when they come to us, never backing down ever, no matter how much we need to go to the mat, even living at one point 3.5 months under the trees to save them.
Right.
Yeah.
We will do the best we can, but we try to get a lot of other people on our side.
Right.
And keep fighting the good fight, and keep standing up for
Right.
yourself,
Right.
and eventually, I believe that courage inspires courage from other people, and it inspires respect from mountain people, frankly.
Right.
They're just
And the-
giving you a razzing for the
And the
first
beauty
couple of
of
years.
you and your
Yeah.
faith and
You
beauty
know.
in the full circle, and how sticking your feet literally into the ground, your roots, and having a following through compassion, and having a news channel that's about the community that isn't shady about what they report. That it gets back to the amendment that you speak of that we have.
No, it's our First Amendment.
And that they pretty much have they ride and run with it to be able for this. It makes me so happy. I can't even tell you.
Well, we
Because
just
I've
know
lived
one
here
thing.
forever,
We
and I
know
have
our
my
rights,
channel besides your TV.
and we have
Yeah.
always been very
I watch them
vocal
all
about
coming
Well, it hasn't
those
always been
rights.
that way.
Yeah.
And especially these days in modern times, we see so many other people making strides. No reason for us not to also.
Right.
And again, we just
It's a
all
good
we have to
feeling. It's a
do
good
is
feeling.
stand still, and things come at us, and we're just like, okay, we're going to take that now. So Google, that's a wrap. 4 days.
Wonderful.
4 days. Wrap.
Way cool, but it's because you stood up
Yes.
for your rights, and that's what the people really don't understand. A First Amendment, well, what is the First Amendment? The First Amendment is that I can practice whatever religion I want. I can say whatever I want. I try not to talk bad about people, but if it's the truth, then, the right to assemble peaceably. We're assembled peaceably here. The right to hold our government accountable.
The right to call a spade, the right to tell
There
the
we go.
truth, no matter how.
You got it. You got
It's
it.
that when you cry out in the theater, fire and there's no fire is where they've always drawn the line of where you endanger the person next to you.
Well, they,
But if
them.
there is a fire, you better say
Yeah.
something.
Right.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
That's the scary thing about humanity too. Is there's some people that might see it and run and not tell you, right?
Well, yeah, and that's,
So
in that case,
yeah.
there is a fire going on. It's a
But it's always
persecutory
been where you
one.
draw
Oh,
that
it's
line.
a-
Who's to judge
right.
and say
Yeah.
you are better
Right.
than the other?
Well, especially when they are so ignorant on what's a witch.
Well, and that's what we had to teach people. That's
Right.
why we went
been real
public, did the
successful
public
at that.
rituals.
And you have.
Brevard, you might just, it helps to find other people that feel the same
There's
way.
a lot of
Indeed.
people in Brevard,
Indeed.
whether they like it or not. There is a lot who are like me who do not have the backbone, if I want to call it that.
It is.
To come forward and say, wait a minute,
But
what
you know
you're
they
doing
will.
is wrong.
They
They
will.
did the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing with us when we first got here. We took nothing but flack from everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the first couple of years, they didn't know the difference between a witch, a Wiccan, pagan. They didn't know.
Right.
We had to explain,
It's like your TV,
educate
everything that's been
for
a
2
kind of in
years.
progress.
Then
Honey,
after that,
you're gonna have
boy,
to
they
jump in
got
and talk
it.
loud.
I just whispered to Lisa that
Well,
Hey, open up your mouth, honey.
Okay,
We know she's got a big mouth.
because there's good stuff.
but
Shannon, coming
but
up.
what
We
is
got
so
some.
important about this, and it's the timing,
Yes.
Right.
okay, is
Right.
that the encouragement that you need to go on
Right.
with what you're doing. And
Right.
if you do that and you win,
and you will.
and you will, it might
thank
take a
you.
while,
Right.
But
then
you
I'll
will.
have you longer. So that's a win-win.
That's right.
Exactly.
But the thing with Lisa is I want to say for Shannon, and Lisa called, and if by some reason, I think it's a beautiful thing if she does get to go and be with her family because she deserves it. Your family deserves love. We have your back. She called and asked me. Shannon's got it going on. We're excited and thrilled because there's nothing better than URTV.
Yeah.
And
I talked to Larry,
And she's interested.
She
A
said
lot
she
of
could
fun,
give
good
me a
stuff
week
coming.
or you know.
Because
And
I'm
beautiful guests like
planning
what you
on,
have
on
tonight.
moving. And
Yeah.
it's like GLoLady TV is going to continue.
Yes.
Because it's important
Karmic
to educate
tools.
the public.
Everything.
Well, here's another thing, though.
Shows.
I don't think that you should stand up as a proud witch and then capitulate. I think if you go there, you need to really, we feel that you need to stick to your guns,
Fall in
to the
and-
bitter end, and,
That's
you
right.
know, go out
That's why
with
she's
bang.
not gone. She's going to take a
And-
well-deserved break, I think. And
Well,
come back
it's to
fortified.
survive
I think
financially.
And
Yeah.
that
I
has,
mean, they have.
that's been the
my
worst.
van has been broke down. It's like I'm gonna
Yeah.
walk home.
Yeah.
Anybody driving to Brevard tonight? Come down to the station and pick me up.
I'm going to ride myself. I'm
How,
crazy.
how did you get here?
I caught a ride here, but she had to go back home to pick up her son from school. So
Can I ask if you have a mate or somebody special in your life that you feel like supports you? Because I think that
No.
really helps.
she doesn't.
He
No.
can
It's been
he can play the
discouraging.
guy,
Yeah.
and play all, like real,
If there's a
scholarly,
kind
and I can
soul
play
out
all
there that-
passionate if we need to
Yeah.
work,
Right.
swap at times,
right.
and swap
Good
out.
cop,
No,
bad cop.
why? Do you have anybody single? And I'll put that single.
I know.
up there.
The point I'm making is that I
Be
think that
filled
it's
with
harder.
love.
when
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't have
Somebody
that
has said-
intimate
right.
support.
Oh,
Somebody's got your
totally.
back, sort of
Right.
thing.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
not
Totally.
absolutely required. It's
Right.
not necessary, but it is. I think.
Well,
Oh.
somebody has already said that they don't take me serious because I am alone. Because I
they don't
have
take you seriously
a
because you don't
man.
have a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not just about, I mean, just people in general. I mean, the two things that work for us is A, networking together with other people that were feeling oppressed, and not just other witches, but people of alternative religions and all kinds of
Liberals.
Yeah.
Of any kind.
And secondly, doing something public that we made sure the media were at.
Right.
Because there's a lot of protection in that spotlight. You know, they can't. Where they try to hurt you is in the dark.
Right.
You know, but that light makes those people scatter like cockroaches.
And that's,
you know.
Right, and that's what they've been doing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been a backhanded. I mean, I will go up and I just put in for a grant, for the Tourist Development Authority to support my show.
She's so
And
good. I
they
wish
turned
someone.
they turned it down. Oh well, we want to. We're putting our money elsewhere. And
Well, and that's the thing.
Oh.
That's we're a nonprofit, and in fact, it's a dirty secret that there is no such thing as religious equality here. When it comes to grants, especially for witches, they don't want to give it because of religious basis
Sounds
or
like your
our
experience
work
in Brevard
or
with the
our
25
track
bucks.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
They'll give it to Billy Graham every day.
Right.
But they will not. Absolutely. We've been up and down. We can't find any way that we qualify, no matter how much work we do and how much
Right.
we document it.
Yeah.
And I think you're facing the same thing. It's
Yeah.
not an equal playing field. These faith-based initiatives,
Right.
that only means if you're Christian or
Right.
monotheistic, Judaic,
Right.
And can I
whatever.
say about the Christian biker, its outreach? Just speaking of which, because she quoted 683 churches, Jan, that was at my doctor's office, when I'd said that in the middle of January there were like 17 people out. I just wanted to let everyone know it was the Christian biker outreach that was out feeding and being with the homeless. And so I wanted to jump in and say, she said 683 churches. She was taking my blood pressure, and I wrote this down. I have her number, but I don't want to give it out just yet. I mean, it's a personal number. But just know it's Christian biker outreach.
It's
people
like
that are trying to do more than those that
More than just
should be.
preach.
Right,
hate,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's those who live the words that they
Thank
preach.
you.
That's what religion's supposed to be.
Christian
Right.
biker
Right.
outreach.
So
being
it's
people
not
rock.
I
to
think
damn any
that a lot of
religion.
people are unaware. The
That's
pagans
it.
help other people to such a degree. Christians
Right.
often take credit for
Right.
these sorts of things, but pagans themselves do just an incredible amount of work to help people, homeless being just
Right.
part of that. Every
Now,
day.
Mark had, the I Ching guy had said on our show once before, you better watch that because it's going all over, yeah.
Oh, thanks. Not gonna do about it.
Yeah, there we go.
That's cool. It's all
He
good.
had said
It's
before
beautiful.
that a pagan was called that because they lived in the country, and that the pagans were the last to find or hear the information that came from the city.
Not necessarily. In fact, they were the ones that clung to paganism.
Okay, you want
They
to
clung to
Yeah, they
those
were.
old ways.
It does
Educate.
mean country dweller.
Well,
Yeah.
it does. But I'm saying that
But-
that it's a difference of interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Right.
country
So
dwellers.
explain that to some people who might be ignorant on the subject, just to enlighten them.
All right, if you have a
as
king,
to,
he's not going to live in really the rural stuff. He's going to mainly live in a city, create a city around him, a
Okay.
city-state.
Uh-huh.
And therefore you have the start between city and county squabbles
Okay.
way back. You have suspicion of the people that feed the cities and what they're doing out there in the wild realms, and the people that are in the wild, living off the land every day, are clinging to the old ways, not the newfangled ways of the city.
okay.
And so, yes, it does mean country dweller, but that wasn't necessarily a pejorative when it started. It became one. Kind of like somebody from New York might think somebody from Asheville or the South was a hick.
And that's
Right.
in late Latin. Apparently, it became synonymous with hick or rube, and then they started using it as an insult
Hadn't heard
towards people
that.
that didn't buy
Isn't that
buy into the new
hysterical?
religion. Yeah.
I love that. That's juicy.
And your definition of a witch. How about if we have Witches 101, and just to educate the public that this is what it means, because it's like, trying to say, I mean, that threefold. I'm not going to harm anybody.
That's not
Because,
exactly what it means.
You
though.
know, but for me, that's how I, my practice of it's, I am not going to wish harm on someone. the threefold.
Well,
Would you like to explain a little bit what?
I just think it's outrageous that in this day and age, witches are still put to the defensive.
Right.
I would
Right.
never approach a Christian and say, defend yourself, no matter how much I might think they need to.
Right.
But go ahead. Why don't you explain to them 101 style?
Well, all right. Witchcraft is a polytheistic nature religion, which means we believe in more than one deity. Well, some witches believe there's one God throughout the universe, God, goddess, whatever you call that force. But to us, that's far too abstract. It's like saying, yes, I believe in everything, and everything is sacred. Well, everything is, but that's a big universe. How you interact with the divine is traditionally, and we find in our experience too, through gods and goddesses. And more than just the one that's branded for us as being okay by the New Testament. We honor Hecate and Herne, or the Earth Mother, or many divine beings. Well, that's one thing. That's polytheism. The second part of that polytheistic nature religion is that we worship nature as sacred and treat nature as our teacher. In fact, we find nature gives far more valuable spiritual lessons than any book, no matter how
it's
holy.
the Indian that I heard in your chant, that the respect. And it's
American, but
Yeah.
No, but to me, I mean, that
It's
beauty.
the same
oh,
idea,
it's
yeah.
literal. It reaches you. You can feel it.
Yeah, and it's.
I would add that it's a celebratory religion, so we are not dour people. We sing, we dance on a Sunday if we want to. We celebrate 8 seasonal Sabbaths, spread like a wheel, like the spokes of a wheel throughout the year, every 6 to 8 weeks. Many of those the Christians have co-opted into their own phrases, like, Christmas was Yule, and it still is to us, Yule. And we also, I feel like we're an empowering religion. We really are. We try to empower women,
Spirit.
men, children, everybody, regardless of race,
Instead of you
sex,
have to go to a
experience.
church in order to talk to a God.
Right.
You don't have to. You can talk to God
You
yourself.
can tie it to your own
And-
gods and goddesses.
Our churches tend to be, maybe a
Outdoors.
circle of rocks on a mountaintop, yeah,
Or around a
or
tree.
a grove of trees, or around a tree. Exactly, that's a sacred spot. That's why
calming,
we
yeah.
stood
And
to
how
defend it.
many thousands of years has witchcraft been?
It was the old
around?
religion, and they call it the old religion for a reason. It was the original religion, planet-wide, and in fact, something most Americans do not know, there are more pagans, there are more polytheists on the planet yet than there are monotheist Christians, Jews, Muslims. Most people don't know that because they keep saying they're the biggest and the baddest. But it's just not true.
Right.
You add in all
And
those
we are
billions of
scared.
Hindus,
And we
you
are
get a lot-
scared.
We've got a lot of pagans on the planet.
Okay, now we already know that most of Christianity was, let me see, convinced at the edge of a sword.
That's right. They were converted.
Thank you.
At the
Sorry.
edge of the sword. At sword
Convinced.
Yeah,
Converted.
convinced. Yeah. That's very convincing. Yeah, that
I
sword.
got your point. I got the point.
Yeah, yeah, got the
That's it.
point. Yeah.
Whereas, because a lot of people think, oh, the witches worship the devil. That's another one that I hear. Would
Yeah.
you like to explain that one too?
I think he's mentioned in the Bible. We don't have a Bible like that. We think that's a collection of, in fact, we don't think. We do know it's been fully documented that a lot of good things in the Bible, what few they may be, come from prior pagan sources. The whole book of Psalms, for instance, that comes from Sumeria and prior pagan cultures. To us, it's a bloody book, and what else would you say?
Well, the whole devil thing, it's a lot of these monotheist, look at that word monotheist, one way only, one God. Well, as soon as you say one and you say he's up there and light and good and everything, well, that implies there's an opposite, a down, a bad, an evil, a dark, And everything in the, Judaism, Christianity, Islam is fundamentally, goes back to that good versus evil battle
That's
and
me.
war.
See, that's totally
You
me.
know?
See, I'm
Right.
God, Jesus, Buddha. I walked with Buddha since I was 12, the way of Zen, because I walked away from the church at 12 because I was going by myself, and I threw my hands up. I went, "Are you guys crazy?"
Yeah, they're all about this, you know.
So
And
I
whereas
walked
Buddhism
away
and
then,
other-
and Buddha and all that was my existence. And I'm proud to say, but I could give it up to it all, but it's good versus evil is where I worked my walk into. I was like, and then we hit the, dark place here recently to acknowledge that it is there.
Well, everything has positive and negative aspects. Everything, every person, everything that we can experience.
But to say that the dark is evil, to
No,
say that
there's
the
more.
wild is
I
evil,
got,
that's what
going to
they. I know. Yeah, that's
the
what's.
dark
That's
is a
what.
beautiful
That's where we
place.
draw the line. Yeah, that ain't true.
I have gone to I
Yeah.
have done and seen the beauty, and found the warmth.
Yeah.
So can we embrace our darker natures at times or do tough magic? Surely has nothing to do with the biblical Satan, which we do not see as a deity in any way, except for perhaps as a solar deity, the light bringer, the sun.
Oh,
To
the old
us,
Lucifer.
the old
Yeah, that's.
Lucifer. That was his original attribution. He was a sun god versus Diana.
Or even
the
Venus,
moon
maybe.
god.
It was a name for the morning star originally. And that's where a lot of this mythology about Satan comes from. It was a kind of bit and piece together from older mythologies.
Scare everyone
and,
around you and give someone power to suppress, those poor.
Yeah.
And it's all the beginning of, my husband will say, religion and wars and such, and you're speaking peace and goodness, and then you say religion, and it's the beginning of the end, and there's no.
Only if you think that the only term of religion has to do with monotheism. If you factor in all the other religions, then it's not just their own bailiwick and their sole purview.
Right.
It gives them the right to have the sole purview on the word religion and to taint it, contaminate it with so many millions of people.
Originally,
and it's been so wrong for so long, and when are people going to
But
acknowledge
that's how they control
the secret?
Well, in fact,
people are
they are.
controlled
Secret
fear.
Move them around. They'll
Wicca
never
itself
know.
is going to be the U.S.'s, Canada, and the UK's third largest religion by 2012,
at current
according
rates,
to
yeah.
the projected.
Well, that's something that they're afraid of. So it's like,
And
let
I
me spread all these dark rumors, about devil worship and the dark side of it and the spells. And,
When you say England, I
all
have
that
to say,
stuff.
my dear friend's mother was put through the nuns, the worst nun school, like in England, way back. And they actually, I think Geralda might have done a thing on it, but it was so horrific, these nuns. So messed up for life, this beautiful
Many
woman.
people are scarred. A lot of children are scarred.
Right.
Children from back then that they've not ended it and said, what did we do to these children?
That's going on
They've
every
hit
day.
it, and these
Right.
people are
Every
so
day.
scarred, like you say. Give it up. Walk in peace. What was that? Who
There
are
have
you?
been times in the past
That's
when
so
I worked
wrong.
with the local cop shop, the police department and such,
Right.
on, finding a book of shadows, should we be worried, or church burnings and things, and without fail, every single time you see a mysterious church burning and it ends up a teen did it.
Right.
And sometimes they scratch, little things on it.
Right.
Absolutely, almost every time you'll find that there was a song leader or somebody who did something they shouldn't have done to that person, and they're just crying.
And it's
Retaliate.
sad because it's
Right.
like how you've been fighting like the jail system for rehabilitation, for
criminal
drugs and this and that.
justice system,
That there's also these people, if you gave them a moment and let them speak and say, my name is, and this is kind of my childhood, what if there was an understanding, kind soul along the way, but it's just, then we go on to putting all these poor people that have sold drugs in jail with everyone, and it's too big to give a crap. So no one's going to get help, period, ever. Because
And
there's
yet
too
the
many people in
positive
jail.
thing is that we have made, he and I alone, and with a lot of other people here, have made so many strides. Our website is full of them. Just
Beautiful.
back to back to back to
Oh,
back.
that was something else that you had said. There was something that you had gotten overturned in the state of North Carolina.
the anti-divination law.
Could you explain that?
There was a 53-year-old law, was it?
Yeah.
Statewide, but only certain counties sort of adopted it in the end. But it was basically an
Half
old...
the counties.
Yeah, half the counties at least.
Okay.
It was sort of like a gypsy rousting law.
Anti-divination. So that means
Anti-fortune telling.
Anti-fortune
against
telling.
And it's singled out tarot card reading.
Yeah.
crystal ball
Indeed,
gazing,
it
psychism.
forbade
Right.
psychism. How can you
Right.
forbid something in your thought?
Right.
And
How can you
it also
quantify
banned
that?
How can that happen?
Wow.
banned
Right.
phrenology. Remember?
Phrenology,
Well, now
reading,
there again,
reading
if I
headbands.
want to read cards in Brevard, it's a $500 license.
No.
Whoa.
That
What?
no, that's on their books how much they charge, and I told the
Is that a
woman who
business
used to be a
license?
business license, and I said, but
what did they
I
do that
don't consider myself. I don't do it for entertainment. I'm very serious about what
This
I
didn't have
do.
anything to do with whether or not it was entertainment or for money or not for money exactly, except
So
that, it
that
had to
law
be,
is illegal.
Well,
well,
what
it
is
had to
it?
be on church grounds
Okay.
or for some sort of semi-frivolous festival, maybe at a school.
That was
right?
the old law,
Instance of
yeah.
The old
Uh-huh.
law.
That we
Okay.
got thrown
And
out.
we fought
yeah.
it for 6 years.
Uh-huh.
Public protests, wrote all the right people in upper echelons, and finally got it rescinded
Okay.
during the Bush era,
Right.
statewide. And now people from here to New Zealand are attacking their laws wherever they remain on the
Okay.
same basis.
So that law, what does that law mean now?
it means that
I can
anyone
read
can
cards
divide
wherever I want.
For pay, for no pay, doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with it. There's
Yeah.
no law against it. Whatever way you want to play it.
Now,
Right.
what are they saying that this is a business license? you
If
have
I were
get?
to get a business license to
Wow,
read
that's
cards
insane.
or do astrology or numerology, it would cost me $500.
As a business license.
As a business license.
Okay.
Now, a preacher, if I were to do it, I'm a spiritual teacher, and doing it as such, I would not need a license
That's right.
because
Right.
preachers do not need
we
a
are
license.
clergy.
Right.
We are clergy, and we
For
have
donation,
a 501c3
Right.
Yeah.
nonprofit. Yeah, and so
Right.
I say go there.
Oh yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
careful
Keep
track.
doing what I'm
Keep
doing.
careful
and-
track.
See,
Your
look at the wonderful
income, your
things. It's so great
Right.
that you're
Right.
here.
Right.
And you're pulling for Lisa, as we all are,
Right.
to be able to make it, those few, you know,
I
for
think
these
the thing
things
for them, the IRS,
to
is to
work.
make sure that you can prove like that you are a third degree or the highest level clergy-wise that you can go in your faith, whatever that
Right.
is. So our third degree is equivalent to seminary training.
Okay.
You know, for like a Christian, it's as high as we can go in our tradition, and they know that. And so I don't know what your tradition or your training may have been, but you know.
She's amazing. I can say, when she's in my house, she's amazing, just like Mary Jo. And I do want to say something quick and then come
Oh,
back
yeah,
to
yeah,
you.
yeah, but Mary Jo's
Something
gonna be
really
on next
cool.
week.
Yeah, but Lisa was right on when she was at my house. That's all I can say. She's
I
brilliant.
have a
I'd love
gift.
for her
I can't
to
teach
be able to
tarot
do
because
it.
I don't
To touch people's
understand. I don't
lives.
know what the individual symbols or are. You know, it just talks to me.
Yeah,
Just
it's
intuitive,
quite
but-
I'm
Yeah.
phenomenal,
just an
and I would
intuitive,
love for
and
her
I
to
use
be
the
able to
cards
have
as
the
a physical
outlets.
proof. So I explain the cards as I'm laying them out. This is what these cards mean. This is what it's telling
That's so
me.
funny because I use them as a cheat.
You use
like
them as
not-
so you understand
I'm
what I'm
scanning
saying.
their brain, but I don't want
It's
to get
like
freaked
not
out
being
about
able
it. So
to
I
be-
rattle
Yeah,
them with the cards.
It's like it's like being able to play music and
That's-
not read
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
You
right.
know, she
Right.
can play
Same
the
thing.
music, but she can't read it, and that's
Right.
the beauty of.
Right.
So I want to jump in because I think we got a few,
Yeah,
a
we
good 12 minutes and stuff, but I'm excited about this
No,
for
only 10.
10.
See, doesn't it fly fast?
Yeah.
I mean,
it?
it's like
It's a great
But
show. I
this
really
is
appreciate it.
fabulous, and this is just this set tonight is just so fun.
Mary Jo Moore.
Mary Jo is
Yeah, who has your straight up ahead.
beautiful.
Verado is on the
Verado.
camera.
Go Verado.
Verado is going to be having his own show here on URTV.
Yeah, last
good.
night was
And
great.
Jen
Live
and Mark
Jen.
are in the studio working the controls. We had Jonathan for a little bit, and,
Yeah.
and we have Daraja in there too.
So fabulous. This is the
Yeah.
best. Oh, thanks for coming in on that. Isn't that wonderful? This book right here saved my head like 9 years ago. It was given to me. I was in the throes of my drinking. I'd Hep C 12 years ago. I drank for 33 years. I'm giving up a little information here, kids. So, but I'm all about it if I can help anyone. But I had the shots that were $100 a shot, $1,200 a month. Insurance went from $500, $700. Let's go. Let's play. So there was a broken winged crow in my backyard, and all the crows guided it for 10 months. Well, I had pretty much checked out. I mean, I had my head in front of the speaker with Rush playing, and it wasn't good. And I was about to lose my legs, and I was bleeding.
She was praying to the devil.
Yeah, right, with my head in Rush. Never gone there, luckily. I've never had a conversation with the food. I'm not there, man.
Right,
Like I told you, I lived the dark when I was born, babies. I don't need it, right? So I don't have to go hunting nothing. So, but anyhow, this was given to me by my best friend Stacy, and at the time, all I listened to were the crows. I didn't listen to humans. I didn't listen to vibration. I was wackadoo on my existence. I was about to die, which 2 months after my dad died 6 months before I quit drinking, and my brother died in my arms 2 months after I quit drinking. And that was 7 years ago. And then there was bankruptcy, and I could throw in a good 12 other horrible things. 6 minutes. So anyhow, getting to Mary Jo Moore. So what happened was his friend gave me this book, and I lived this book in that crow for 10 months. And an amazing thing has happened. We've become good friends, and she is a spirit speaker. You can go to
put it right up in front of you because it should already
okay. MaryJoMoore.com. You can look her up.
Oh, Rob's coming in.
There's
Blues
Rob.
and Brews.
I think I saw him at a store.
Blues and News.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Blues and Blues?
Blues and
Yeah, I
Brews.
saw him at the store. He did good. You could do the up and down on me like he did. But anyhow, she's written a book, and she's excited to come on Lisa's show
Next Friday.
next Friday before she goes to Malaprops to read from her new book that's launching, The Boy with a Tree Growing from His Ear. And here's her write-up. But anyhow, I'm honored, excited. I cried half the day when she wrote me yesterday to say that she was going to come on the show before she goes to Malaprops. So tune in, again, always tune in.
Next week, she's a fantastic.
And next Friday to be
Inspirational.
Shannon, Lisa, Kelly, all these wonderful women and people around here. To be on this show, it's all about her, and I will shut up when she's on.
We
I wanted
try
to give
to
my heads up
educate
that she,
people.
she's come out to spread her wings like you. You know, there's this time where the
Well,
magic.
It's time to educate. It's time, that we are no longer in the darkness.
And
we
and
are
open
not
yourselves
in those
up.
dark ages anymore.
And I did want to say, I want to heist this wonderful guy, John, that was on What's Next last night, great TV, URTV. Jay's guest was John. So John, this is the beauty of URTV, we can share guests because he doesn't need to stop there. And I went to look him up on What's Next, and I'm not good at looking stuff up. So if he hears, I'd love for John to come on and be on one of your shows because he was just phenomenal. The phone wouldn't stop ringing.
Wow, I
He was
did.
amazing, and he told Jay about the spirit, the spirit guides and the colors. And I finally saw someone that hit me like nobody in a long time. So anyhow, John, if you're listening, and
So that's
yeah.
next week. We're going to have Valley on again because she always has lots of good stuff.
Well, I'm just
And I
excited.
look forward to having you guys on.
Yeah, very informative.
I'm
And
just really
congratulations on all of your
Yes.
successes.
glad
We're all
coming to
about
good
it.
news.
Yeah.
I've been watching
good
you like
news.
all these guys here.
Yeah,
I watch
but
the
also
news.
to educate the public because unless there are shows similar to, where is the public going to learn? Because they definitely are not learning it in the churches. I have been damned to my face by the pastors in
Brevard.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
you're just
they've-
going to have to get over that.
And the thing
Rise
with,
above it
and the
pretend
thing
like
with
they don't
Michael-
exist because
Yeah.
we do not
Get
do
over-
things. Well, we don't wait for them to do something to us or whatever. We do something and then make them play catch up.
Right.
You know. And,
Well, it needs
put
to be
them on
because-
the-
That's the best advice.
because
Lisa.
Bubba sure put the
Okay,
whammy on
now,
my girl.
Yeah,
here.
I've had. It's been, and now
Took
I'm
her
wondering.
down.
It's like,
took her
was
income
it
for a year.
Was it Bubba who did it, or was it the people who were behind Bubba who did it?
Well, they can't do that to you anymore. You know.
So
just
what
stand
would
up
you
to 'em.
suggest I do? Because I was thinking about having like a weekly, informational
Commentaries, letters
come
to
in.
the editor,
They won't print some of
emails.
them, especially the
Well-
religious ones.
Do you want some feedback from your viewing
petitions.
public?
You
Oh
know,
yeah,
lots
that's
of
right.
things.
Well, I
gotta-
mean, we're
Do
running
you,
out of
I
time.
know,
but
but
it's
no,
like,
just
dang.
where can they get in touch with you? What's the best?
GLoLady. 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 GLoLady.
CNN, I Patrol Lady.
GLoLady TV.
Yeah.
You can find me. Trust me, if you want to find me, GLoLady. I'm
Please
like
do.
all over the internet.
And if people want to find
So-
out more about witchcraft,
Oh
our
yeah,
practices,
yeah.
our
Did
history,
you put up the her information for
certainly
how
they
can get up?
learn all about that and everything
Freedom
that we
to
do
be.
at
Yeah. Be
oldenwilde.org.
Okay, yeah, Jen's gonna throw that up there. I don't know if it had come up yet. Lady Passion, her real name. And then we
That's
also
my mundane name.
That's your what?
Another
That's my
Dixie.
mundane name.
Another
My
Dixie
real
on
name.
URTV.
Mundane.
Another Dixie on URTV.
Yeah.
We've got, now I missed
A
your
good
interview
Dixie.
with Dixie. She said, I've seen all the URTV, but
Oh,
where was
that's
I?
another
It was
Dixie.
great.
Yeah,
Great.
so
I was
you,
just on today
Yeah,
because
we
it
love
was one of
Dixie.
those, you know, I came out, her co-host didn't show up, I'll help you. I thought it was
So
in the
cool.
control room. No, I'm a, you know, yeah, I was out
I can't wait to
so it
see
was
that.
like
Now,
way
what show
cool.
is that? Is
Ha-
that the
Coffee
Dixie show?
with Dixie. Yeah.
That was today at 2 o'clock,
at
her
2
Friday
o'clock
show.
today. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I heard her say it, but I was caught up with my cat.
Well, anyhow, definitely. Oh, I should shut up. I should let Shannon at least have a minute.
Well, yeah, no, I was just going to say, today, you know, URTV is always on at our house. It's mandatory for our children, our, you know, friends. And I didn't know you were going to be on there.
I
so
didn't either.
I saw you and I was like,
That's great. I
that's
hate
me.
I
So I
missed
had
it.
to call. I had to call right away and say, wow, this
She's
is great.
great.
And
She's
it was
great.
a great show.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
wonderful. And
yeah.
Lisa's
We
a
enjoyed
perfect
it.
person. Like I say, I want to interview Mel, and I want to just interview a lot of people. And the public comes on, the bands come on. Asheville's always invited.
Yes.
Wonderful place. Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Come and do the
Pay
orientation.
particular attention to things that are going on in
Yes.
the local environment that are issues that
Yes.
somebody's trying to
Right.
tackle. Or
Right. First Amendment. Well, that's what I felt under, and it's so important.
Local
Wow.
Access TV.
Hey, Mon, it looks like we're out of here.
Yeah.
Dang, time flies when you're having fun.
What a great, very informative. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
To
Thank
the
you.
MySpace.
Thank you.
Oh, we're-
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're still in there.
Turn off. But turn on.